Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time on a side project that just came up. I'm only going to do one episode on it. If I don't finish this on camera, that's okay. I'll do the rest of it on my own time. But this is being recorded on a Monday, and yesterday, Saturday or Sunday afternoon, I was going through this list of all these code projects that I had, where some of them I now have in GitHub, the repositories there. Some of them were just really old code examples of, I don't even know what they were really trying to prove or suss out. And I was like, I don't need to keep those around. So kind of doing some house cleaning is what I'm getting at. And what I found, which was interesting, is some of these I'm going to have to kind of dig into a little bit more and go, do I really want to keep them, or what do I want to do with them? But you see all these ones that are beginning with benchmark here. So what I'm going to do is create a project that just kind of is like benchmark investigations and keep that around. So because some of these are just, why dynamic sucks. not the greatest name in the world. But some of these are just kind of funny or interesting. And I thought, well, why not just keep these around and have this project that if I ever want to do another like investigation, I can, have that there. So we're going to do a new project and just take your sweet time. Solution. Okay. We're going to say next. And we're going to say benchmark investigations. Okay. And no, why? Why would you even care about the framework? Just place solution and project in the same directory. I don't know if that was ever there before, but I don't think it was. And I'm glad it is, because, oh my God, how many times have I wanted the solution? Well, that's not I said blank solution, right? Yeah. Okay. That was, the more I looked at it, I'm like, that's not what I want. Okay. So we have that. And yes, I know I need to update. So if I have repos here and I've got, what it's going to do is that. Good. Okay. So what we're going to do is now put in come on, you can do it, add new project, and do a console app. I'll call it the same name because reasons. No, I don't want 3.1, I want 5. And then we're going to do some copying and pasting, which is going to go into rocks here. And we're going to do get ignore license readme as the start. Yeah, this is fine. And then we come back here, we go into source, take the editor config and the props, and come in here. Wait a minute, no, we don't want them there. We want them here. Okay. That should really be all that we need. Yeah, now that's kicking. Yes, I know there's an update. Go away. Okay. And then let's do a random collection of performance tests I've done using benchmark.net. And as often as I use this tool, you'd think I know the URL off the top of my head, but I don't. Following are brief descriptions of each set of tests, and then we'll add them in as we do them. Okay, do they have, I'm just kind of curious, it's still 012. I find that so odd, you know? No, that. Come on. Like, you think they would be up to a 1 something at this point, you know? Yeah, updates. You have, you say there's 1 there. Add existing. We want to add the editor config, the git ignore. Come on. Oh, for... Why can't you add existing, like, items? You know what I mean? As in one shot. And quite frankly, I really wish that the solution would either start getting a lot of support or just go away completely. I know they always talk about how much work that would be, but wait, which one did I just change? This is the... Oh, it's because I haven't saved it. There we go. Okay, it's like... That's odd. Okay, so we've got this sort of set up, and what I need to do next is start thinking about how I want to have these in here. Okay, so let's come back here, and let me go to my drive here. Argument null check overhead. Well, how much overhead is there to checking a... Oh, this is just to see, like, if you actually do a null check and if you throw it. Yeah, why not? Passing null the constructor. Is that what we want to call this, though? Let's call this argument null check over it. Sometimes, for some reason, my Alt tab on my keyboard is sometimes being weird, and I don't know why. And I don't know if the battery is starting to go in, because in the keyboard itself, sorry, banging on everything, there is a slot here for 2 batteries. But the interesting thing is, as I'm like randomly hitting keys on it, is like the mouse, well, this one, the light isn't showing up, but there is a light on these mice that I have that will start showing red or green sometimes. And the keyboard, at least from what I can tell, doesn't have that. So I don't know if maybe the batteries in the keyboard are going or what. Maybe I should just replace them, but I don't know. Anyway, okay, so what do we want to call this? Argument null check overhead. Okay, so we will say name is argument null check overhead. Okay, and then let's make sure that we are in release, because you should always be in release when you are doing no. Oh my God, stop it. See, like copying this and pasting it doesn't necessarily work either. Okay. So is there really any benefit to having this interface here? No, there's not. And so that has it, and that has it. Okay. It's interesting that I do have nullables enabled, right? Yeah, and it's not. Well, okay, that's right, because these are saying they have to be null. So this is actually just extra work. I really shouldn't have to do this. But anyway, okay. So then we would come here and we'd say, what would we say? I forgot. Yeah, that. Okay. Oh, argument null check overhead. It is morning, it is early, so I'm going to use that as my excuse. Okay, and then that should be it. So now if I run this, I should see what the differences are. So I'll be back in a minute as I run this, and then we will see where we're at. Okay, I am back, and passing to null check takes almost 12 nanoseconds, whereas passing without a null check takes 10 nanoseconds. So yeah, I mean, there has to be a tiny bit of overhead to doing the null check, because you just have to be able to say, yes, the one thing I could do is just say here, instead of newing it up every time, say private read only might be null, value is equal to new. And then we just say in here, this dot value, and same here. Because we don't need to be creating it all the time. There's no worth in doing that. Okay. And then I think that'll make the test slightly faster. So I'm going to run it again, and then we'll see the results. Okay, and now that we run it, you see there is a slight difference. We're not allocating as much memory. The difference is almost the same. I think the ratio was 1 and 0.84. Now it's 0.81. So, the point again is it's not about what you're passing in or where you store that. It's, does that check actually matter? And in this case, you can see, yeah, there is a little bit of overhead, but you're also doing the right thing. That's the trade-off. And there's no difference in allocation, so, all right. So that's the first one. And what I also intend to do is to have in this repo results for each one. So there'll be like an argument null check overhead dash results text file. I'm not going to do all those now. I'm just going to kind of leave that be. And I also thought of maybe in the program I use Dragonfruit and have some way to type in the name of the class that I wanted to actually run or something like that. I don't know. That's just getting ahead of myself. Okay, so argument null check overhead is, can you do that? Yeah, you can. Okay. What is this one? I remember looking at this one and going, I think it's almost the same thing in a way. What the heck did that just do? Okay. So if I do this, get string length with if check. And actually, I just realized I should. Oh yeah, I am doing the right thing there. Okay. String length with no coalescing with ensure that. Oh, this was value equals value. Oh, value equals. Oh, because to do this, you have to assign it. And so I just assigned it back to itself. How worth it is this? I don't think it's worth it. Now that I'm looking at it, I would never, value should not be null. I would just If I'm assigning, I do this. I'd say is null now. Then I would do that. But yeah, I don't think there's any worth in doing that anymore. So we're not going to do that one. Bye-bye. While it's doing that, this one I think was checked contexts. So overflowing code. And this one I thought was kind of interesting because I wanted to see how fast was it to do just this compared to doing checked, compared to doing an actual exception handler where you don't throw. I don't think either one of these would actually cause it to happen. Because checked will actually throw an overflow exception, if I remember right, and that's what I was trying to do here. So I don't really know like what the value is of the third one here. I can see the value of these two just to compare it to. Obviously, if you throw an exception, the whole behavior changes. But as long as you don't overflow, yeah, let's do that. Except overflowing integers. Sure. Sounds like a good name to me in the morning, right? Okay, so we shall take this, that, missing usings, except we're not going to take that. Okay. And that should be it. All right. I know the arguments here, if I remember benchmark.net with arguments, parameterization. Right. I know you can do that. Param source. Yeah, I don't like that they have this whole for multiple arguments as an enumerable array of objects. I really don't like that. I wish they would make it a little cleaner than that. Because what we want, we just call values. And then we want 3, 7, 1244. Goes reasons, 243, 4831. 4315 9199, and then the 10,000s. We could do that, make it a little easier to read for the, nah, you know what? I don't want that there. Okay. So then we would say what? Argument source, name of argument source, name of values. This is a little nicer. I mean, it does take up a little less space, so I'm okay with that. And then you have a time span, that one, for single argument, for multiple, just, so we're going to do run overflowing code and run that and see what we get. Okay, I am back. Funny that some of these, yeah, they're so fast that it can't even tell the difference between the two, which I want to keep it as an example because this just shows if somebody would say, oh, think of all the overhead you're adding when you do checked. Well, it's like, well, there's overhead, but it's so like it bounces back and forth between the two. It's so hard to tell the difference. The method duration is indistinguishable from the empty method duration. It's just, you can't tell is what it's saying. The one with checked in 4 out of 5 cases is a little fast, a little slower, but we're talking like 0.006 nanoseconds. You got better things to do with your life is what I'm getting at. Don't worry about it. Okay. So we're going to come back over here. going to call that done. And then you can try to put one more in. Why dynamic sucks. So I have something where I say get value via dynamic, get value via direct. They're both static calls, except one uses data and one uses dynamic. Yeah. So, and then dynamic calls dot random will read a integer value. Actually, it would be interesting is if, sorry, I blanked there for a second. I'm like, it'd be kind of interesting is if I actually did, like the times dynamic calls random. There's really no point in doing this other than you're trying to do a multiply on a value here that you're trying to pull out of there. So yeah, fine. Okay, we'll do that. We'll call it dynamic usage, for lack of a better term. Except there we go. Except now we want to do expression body for members. We'll do that on the document. Yes. Okay. And we got that. So now we could come into here, go into our program and do that. And the expression can be simplified. Yes, it can. It's not really that simple, but okay, whatever. Yeah, we have to have the call go through there. Okay, so one more time with feeling. All right, and as you can see here, calling dynamic. Do I? Oh, I don't. Oh, okay, well, we should have the baseline as being calling direct. That's okay, have it next time. As you can see, there's a little bit of allocation overhead, and it's like 2 orders of magnitude slower. So, you know, yeah, don't use dynamic unless you absolutely have a good reason to do so. It's just, to me, it's never been worth it. I've never had a case as to why I need it, and I'm not saying that people don't have cases for it. I just never have had one, and this is why I avoid it at all costs, because there is a cost associated with it. And if you don't need it, don't use it. Just do something like this, you know. So, yeah, we're having somebody come over right now just to do some checks on our heating, and they put in a new heating and air conditioning unit a year or two ago, so we get, you know, free service. Okay, whatever. So somebody's coming over this morning. We're getting texts. So I should probably wrap it up anyway now. So I'm going to add the rest of these, you know, as time goes on, and get all these in here, and then I can throw it up in GitHub and kind of make this my one-stop shop for just random, you know, oh, there's another dynamic performance here. What does that do? Invocation tests. Oh, so we actually declare something as a, so dynamic data access tests and dynamic property tests and dynamic invocation tests. I guess we could have 2 of those here. I'm not going to be the next one, but I'm going to do that off camera because I don't want to do that right now. And anyway, I got distracted by what my wife put on that text. Anyway, so I'll do the rest of these and then have, like I said, the one-stop shop for all my benchmark stuff. So I do plan on, I have a list here of a couple of things I want to get done before I move to that new project. And I'm really looking forward to diving into that and giving it a whirl and see where that goes. So thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.